Welcome to the Functional Code, your go-to source for decoding optimal health. Join Dr. Addy and Dr. Jace as they break down the science behind pain, performance, longevity, and more, making complex concepts easy for you to understand and apply in your life. Your journey to a healthier you begins with understanding the Functional Code.
Disclaimer: the content provided in this health podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. If you think you may have a medical emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. Reliance on any information provided in this podcast is solely at your own risk. The creators and hosts of this podcast are not responsible for any actions or decisions you may take based on the information presented.
Welcome back to the Functional Code. We have an absolute killer of a podcast today. We are going to get right into it. 10 ways to hack your day, life, happiness, performance, recovery, longevity, you name it. We're going to hit it today. Doc and I, we love this topic, and I think today is going to be a great substance for you in a way of just diving deep into what we do to hack our days, plus what we know other people do to hack their days. And I think it's going to be packed full of a lot of nuggets and tidbits for you to change your day for the better. So I am Dr. Addy.
And I'm Dr. Jace. And yeah, we wanted to go completely raw. We're going to leave out probably a decent amount of research, but going and looking at what is our experiences, what are things that we do, maybe not on a daily basis, but on a consistent basis that we've seen results from, and from things that we've learned from others as well. So we're going to dive right in. We have 10 each of us, 10 topics, 10 ways. There's some of these overlaps, so we'll kind of go back and forth this, but yeah, much like Doc said, there's going to be a lot of applicable information that you can all use to improve your own self, your own rhythms, your own routines. So Doc, let's dive right in.
I know we have the same one we started with, which was a good fundamental in a way. So we both put preparation of some form. So Doc put prep for automation, which I love that headline, and I kind of just put preparing, but you got to be prepared for your week, for your month. So there's many ways to prepare. The ones that I put down was time blocking. This is where you take and to the minute time block your day out, your week out, and it can just help you get through maybe the lull times of, we know what that looks like, right? You got a couple hours, you're going to be on that phone. Man, you're going to do things that maybe aren't as productive. And so if you can actually pick, even go to the pool and relax as a time block. You don't have to just have it as a off time, right? It's helped me get through those periods of lulls to where I can actually be more efficient. Second, meal prep. Every Sunday on meal prep helps me cut costs on going out to eat, and I'm actually eating foods that are whole foods. I'm preparing. It's keeping me fed and more nutrients. Yeah, everybody should absolutely get into meal preps. And then I even prep my supplements. It's easy to forget about taking your supplements at certain times. So if you prep them ready to go, that every 8:30 every night, my girlfriend's alarm goes off, and we get up from the couch, we go to get the supplements, we go back down and watch more Netflix. But just having those alerts, those timers, can definitely make a difference, Doc.
Ooh, I like the timer aspect. I'm definitely going to steal that one. In terms of prep for automation, what are things that you can do to, kind of like what Doc said, prep for the week? So I know I do very similar in terms of supplements for the week. Ideally, if you can find a container that has this all like morning, afternoon, night, or separate, and then put all your pills on a Sunday. Much the same for like prepping meals for the week, very similar. I know for myself, and I've done this earlier on, prepping even clothes for the next day or the whole week.
Ooh, nice.
Will also ease up the friction of choosing in the morning, especially for ladies, and finding a proper outfit. I know that can be challenging, but yeah, any process that you have that you can prep either days, to a certain extent weeks, or even a month prior to, can help influence and improve your day, because you want to spend all that mental energy on tougher tasks and not just like tasks that you have to do on a daily basis.
And decision fatigue is a thing.
Oh, yes.
The less decisions you have to make, because you've already made them in a way, what you're going to eat, clothes, what have you, really helps keep you on the ball to put effort towards the other decisions you have to make at work, kids, what have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Doc, let's go to the next one for you.
I have optimal protein intake. So this one I learned from a doc in Minnesota. He just explained it in such a great way. He's a virologist. And so I learned about this during COVID, actually. A lot of his patients he had on the optimal protein intake of 100 grams. Woman, man, does not matter, at least over the age of 18. His patients weren't getting COVID, man.
Wow.
Like, and he's yet to get COVID. I know.
Okay.
So I'm not using that as the only reason why, but protein, not many get the adequate intake. Protein is absolutely crucial for so many parts of the body, and there are just times where I think if you start eating more protein, you're going to get way more of the benefits that you have been wanting without actually understanding how to get there. So I think not many are actually getting enough protein, and I think more people should eat more protein.
That's good. I never
Yep.
thought about that one. Wow. My next one would be hydration.
Yes.
You want to properly adequate your system, especially when waking up from sleep, with water. So most every day, get up, go either to the fridge, grab some water, go outside, and then just plug a bunch of water right then and there.
Do you do cold or room temp?
Ideally cold.
Cold, okay.
For me, I like that shock a little bit.
Okay.
Either or, like I don't do warm unless it's like with tea or coffee
Okay.
or something like that, but I'm usually not even a coffee person. But yeah, it's getting as much water in you, whether it's chugging, whether it's sipping, either or, doesn't matter as much.
Big containers help too. You don't have to fill up as many times during the day. It's efficient. For me, water, when I have big containers, I usually hit my water goals versus when I don't.
And then going back to the prep for water for the morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Number 3 for me, which I think Doc, I'm sure, has on his as well. Fitness, gym, at least 5 out of the 7 days. You don't have to lift heavily of those 5 out of the 7 days, but cardio involved, just running, activity, movement. You got to stay motionful and do it in ways that are fun for you, whether it's pickleball, cardio, weights, however. But at least 5 out of the 7 days, you got to get motionful. For me, I choose between cardio and HIIT half of those days, and then I lift weights on the other half of the days.
HIIT, so people.
Yeah, of course. It's called high interval intensity training, and it's an easier way for I think to get a better output in cardio. It's actually been proven to have better effects cardiovascular than just long distance running. But for me, I like to do 4-minute runs, wait for 4 minutes, rest, and then do a 4-minute sprint, wait, and then I do that 3 or 4 times. It's actually called the Nordic Protocol, and it's less invasive than needing to run an hour a day. It just is less boring for me too. So
I like that, and I guess I'll supplement my same. So my same number 3 is body maintenance. Whether you're in a phase of building up tissues and actually laying framework, that you probably would want to go more hypertrophy training of more higher reps of anywhere from 50 to 85% max intensity when you do that. Or if you want to slim down, you can either go to that same hypertrophy training or go higher reps, lower weight, less intensity. So it's just building up tissues for me. That's kind of the phase I'm in right now. And then the other portion, which I think more people can kind of take away from, is body maintenance. What are the common positions, movements that you find yourself in? So for example, me as a chiropractor, adjusting people on almost a daily basis of not only the maintenance of the hands and wrists and going through the full motions of each finger, of the whole wrist, of the arms, elbows, but even for the torso. So like when we adjust people on the side, there's a rotational component to that. So building up rotational movements at home and targeting specific tissues is really important. Like, for example, like let's say if you're sitting for a longer period of time, okay, so what muscles are we engaging more so? Well, if your arms and hands are coming in front of you, the shoulders are rounded forward, that's going to involve a lot of muscles on the front side, but that can lengthen and cause weaker tissues on the back side. So can you maybe, if you're sitting for longer periods of time, either break that up into time intervals or set an alarm on your phone, or at home, maybe before work and after work, doing like posterior chain work, whether that's face down on the table or a bed or a couch, and then just bring your arms and legs up off the ground for on and off for 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, or for as long as you possibly can, and then relax. Just the combat, those common movements, I think is really, really important.
Another quick example would be like a UPS worker lifting packages. Take a 20-pound medicine ball and just practice lifting, and something to that nature too. I also want to state VO2 max and muscle mass are two of the most important longevity markers in life. So when Doc and I talk about this, that's what we're trying to convince you to maintain is your cardiovascular health and muscle mass amount. Like these are the things that are going to continue to push you to a health span and lifespan improvement.
Ooh, that's beautiful, man. Yeah, that's good.
Number 4, cold plunging, sauna. For me, hot and cold is so beneficial for so many things. Cold plunging has tens and tens of things of immunity boosts. It can even boost testosterone long term. It can improve brown adipose tissue amount, which can help improve cold shock proteins for tolerance of cold and heat. It can help with recovery, just so many different things. Mental health improvement, dopamine, neurotransmitter output, you name it, man. Cold plunging is absolutely something that you can absolutely incorporate daily, if not weekly. And then, of course, sauna, super helpful for detoxing, great for the joints, great for mental clarity, and just another way to improve longevity.
I like that. Are there any ways, because I know us here in Arizona, you might be listening from a different state, that want to do cold plunging. Are there any ways that you can go about it in the summer months when it's like 100-some degrees out to incorporate that?
Yeah, I think mostly it's, making sure that if you're going to do this or start off with this, your cold faucet temperature on your sink or bathtub is around 50 degrees, and that's a great place to start. So if let's say your pools are not that hot in the summertime, at least down here, that would be a helpful addition to at least make it to a certain temperature that's advantageous enough to make therapeutic change. So that's where you can kind of start off. If you want to get colder, there are memberships you can go to, certain relatively affordable memberships you can go to around the area that have cold plunges for you to do. If not, I know people can buy the units themselves and keep it at home, and that's another way for people to do it too.
Or go to a place that.
Yep.
Oh, that's perfect, man. The next one I have is get outside, view sunlight. So going back to drinking water, going back to exercise, that will all help regulate your circadian rhythm, which goes back to a nerve bundle of what's known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which relays on almost like the top part of your mouth, and that has a communication to every other cell in the body. So the better that you can get that on the same page with all the other cells, the better that all the systems of your body can work together. So getting outside, viewing light, not staring into the sun, but having light come into your eyes will help significantly. And then you add in forward ambulation, or like you're walking forward with sunlight. That forward walking as objects are coming past you has a calming stent, which can also increase serotonin levels. It gets into like almost like a meditative state to where like you can almost zone in on other areas, other topics. I learn way better when going on a morning walk. So I usually get outside, consume a lot of water. Ideally, feet are on the grass. We have turf, but there's certain limitations with that here in a desert. From there, go for a walk every single day, multiple times a day. I've done that for the last 8 years since I got our pup, Sam, who's now 8 years old, which helped kind of ingrain that habit for not only after we eat breakfast or even before, but even after dinner. It helps for the metabolic factor to help break down the meals, but a lot of it is regulating the circadian rhythm, getting outside, walking forward, and allowing light to come in the eyes. So.
Yeah, vitamin D levels, obviously, too, to optimize that. Great for mental health, and everything that you said, man.
That's perfect, thank you.
Yeah, my next one was sleep optimization. We could dive into this one for days. I think we even did a podcast on sleep itself, so if you guys need to go back and look at that in a deep dive, but sleep, again, one of the most impactful, if not the most impactful things for your health. You got to optimize it. That is for me, getting to bed at a similar time each night, making sure the temperature is adequate enough to get my body temperature down, cooled it down enough for me to sleep well. Nose strips for me, I got a deviated septum, so make sure I'm nasal breathing. If you snore, making sure you have a sleep apnea, or if you have a CPAP machine or whatever other devices you need to sleep as best as you can, all of that is going to make such an improvement in your health long term.
Beautiful. And just the penny back on Dr. A, because if you're going to optimize your body long term, especially daily hacks, sleep is going to be an obvious. Yep. But I took a little different route. What are the night rituals that you find yourself in? And I think this is a huge target that most people can benefit their life from, whether it's relationships, emotionally, physically, extra income, financially. When you get home after a long day, what are the tasks that you find yourself doing, or what are the common things that you find yourself doing? So most people, they get home, they watch TV, they kind of unload, relax for the day. That time frame between when you get home, relaxing, all the chores and stuff are done to a certain extent, and before you go to bed, that is where you can improve yourself, whether you want to mentally grow learning wise, whether you want to improve your relationships, whether financially and building up other programs. I know for me, that's where if I'm in a growing phase, if I'm in a creation phase, I'm using that time for multiple things. Whether it's if I haven't talked to my wife in a while, I try to spend more time with her, or I'm building up other programs. So I'm trying to time block a certain time with the wife and family, certain time with the dogs, and then certain time for growth. So knowing exactly where that is. Now, if it's hard for you to figure out, okay, I had this time, how do I use this? A good idea, what makes you most excited?
Yeah.
That is ideally your truest self, and you want to move in that direction, whether it's certain tasks, whether it's certain things that are compelling you or moving you in that direction. That is something that you can work on to get to that state, to spend as much time in an excited, happy state as you possibly can.
I love that.
From there. Yeah.
Do things that make you happy, man. It's
100%.
big, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, number 6, read and learn every day. So like you said, time block that time out. For me, I feel like I'm reading constantly when I'm not working. I'm just, lunch breaks, whether it's listening to podcasts at home, I'm reading before bed. I think it's so important for long-term mental health, cognitive health, and I think it just helps give you such great perspective if you're reading whatever you're reading and learning about, man. There's a lot of knowledge to be gained out there, and I think more people would be happier and more well off if they read more. So
yes, I agree. Going back to the constant learning, if you're moving or working towards something, neurologically stating, you're going to set your dopamine levels for which control the pursuit towards something that you find enjoyable, that you find worthwhile. And the more that you can set off in that same direction will help for the betterment of, like Dr. Addy said, the mental state.
Yes.
So I absolutely love that. Yeah. My next one would be kind of going back to the sleep aspect, Yoganidra. So a lot of times when I'm doing more work at night, oftentimes after the morning shift of clinic or work, either go home, go into a meditative state, or a small nap.
And Doc, just really quick, you want to explain Yoganidra, just for those who don't know what it is?
So if you guys want, it's a meditative practice that you can go into that has a guided meditation, allows you to calm and lower your heart rate for certain individuals to get to a sleeping state. But it roughly lasts anywhere from 10, most commonly 20 to 30 minutes. So when coming home for lunch, or if you have a time midday, that'll help significantly for calming the restful state, but also it gets you into that first 1 to 2 stages of sleep. So if you guys have want to dive into deeper, like Doc said, there's a sleep podcast, you can get into that. But the first few stages of sleep will help for the memory recall, which I think is also why I have a decent memory for certain things. But after you go into any bout of learning, ideally going and taking a small nap or Yoganidra will work beautifully.
Nice.
I just wouldn't go past 90-minute stint because your body and mindset works in all trading cycles of 90 minutes and ebbs and flows throughout the day.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that's gonna be a perfect one for
Yeah, I
most
know my
people.
girlfriend loves Yoganidra.
Yeah, nice.
It's so helpful for winding down, right? Calming.
Love that.
I have optimized time with loved ones. That one, I think self-explanatory, but really it's for someone like myself who I can probably work 24/7 if this body allowed me to without eating or sleeping. If I didn't have to eat or sleep, I could work 24/7. So that's where you got to realize that people are everything, and you need to optimize those times with those that you love and love you. So it's going to balance out everything in your life. And again, I think we spoke on this on a couple podcasts ago, but there's going to come to a point in your time in your life where you might have all the money you need, you might have all the things you need, but if you don't have anyone with you, you're going to be pretty damn lonely. So
very true. I like that.
Yep.
I have a very similar one, much like the same thing you said. It's hard to go through life and to keep challenging yourself, to keep grinding, if you don't have someone to either look back on or anything to enjoy it with, and that whether that's actually humans, people, family, or that's animals,
Absolutely.
a dog, puppy, cat,
Absolutely.
anything like that. I know in the upcoming podcast, we're going to dive into obstacles and challenges of seasons that we've been through. And I stated that there was about a 6 months period to where I went to graduate school. I was with my pup, myself, with my fiance at that time, still stayed away back in North Dakota. She's finishing up school. But it was that time frame where when I was with my pup at that time, it was a mental offload to help mentally reset. And anytime you can get away from like your purpose, your calling, your work, and just get out, go hike, go explore, go adventure, that has a huge effect on mental health.
it does. It absolutely does.
So that's
Nice.
that's a good one.
I have add a holistic doctor to your team. And I don't think, for those of you who have never even been to a chiropractor or naturopath, alternative provider, it's just another completely different perspective, philosophy of how to manage your health. And I think it's one that everyone needs to continue to prevent and or provide a level up in your health, something that I don't think you will ever get from a modern medical route. So, and I'm not here to say that that's not a route that's needed, but there are just times where that route is going to be the one that is needed, and then truly adding value to your life as far as improving it, preventing, regenerating, repairing, building it for the journey ahead. You're going to want a holistic provider on your team, and it's only going to make your life better to have someone on your side who knows how to build you up that way. And so whether you have a chiropractor on your side, a naturopath, acupuncturist, energy healer, I mean, so many that can, Chinese medicine doctor, they can give you an edge to feeling better overall health-wise, mental health-wise, even spiritually, that I don't think the modern medical route can.
I really like that,
Yeah.
especially the point that you brought up, who is on your team. And I think that is a part that not many people understand. Like, okay, I don't necessarily have a team, I just have a family that I converse with every now and then, but to have someone who is just interested in you, I mean, your family, yes, to a certain extent, but they have a better idea to, especially if they look at from many different avenues and ways, kind of like what we do here of, oh, how's your sleep? How is your relationships?
Yep.
How is your performance? What are your goals? And looking at from a wide range, zoning on what they want to do, I think that will only help. And I think that's where a majority of conservative care professionals come from, more from the medical side. And not saying, like Doc said, the medical doctor can't do that. A lot of them, especially good ones, do that, but that individuals that stay with you and understand your journey on a consistent basis, whether that's once a month, whether that's once a week ideally, that helps long term.
For sure.
Way more than people realize.
For sure.
I like that one. That was good. Whew. The next one I got is upgrade your habits. So a lot of the times we find ourselves with certain habits that we find ourselves in on a daily, weekly basis. For example, going for walks in the morning or reading a book at night. What are the things that can upgrade those habits, whether that's something you buy or something that you invest your mental effort in learning new skills to enhance that habit? So for example, like let's say going for a walk in the morning. Okay, well, how are your shoes? Do you need new shoes to help with your walk? I walk my pups not on leash, off the leash, so is there training that I can do with them to help that whole process in the morning? And when is that time being spent? Are there certain things that you have at your work, whether it's your mouse or keyboard, that aren't necessarily working properly, but they'll help with your overall outcome of performance? Maybe we want to upgrade that and buy something there. Or let's say you get home, you're lonely, you don't have the relationships that you do. Maybe on the weekend we'll go out, join a new club, find new friends, and then relate with one another, and then maybe you have an outlet there.
Yes.
How can you improve those habits, whether it's learning, whether it's buying, whether it's putting yourself in the right situation?
Yep, and that's awesome, because I only thought about all the things that I can do to upgrade what I got going on too. And for those of you that do make goals and do have habits that you're trying to improve on, I think you get that too. You know, it's where can you continue to add value to your life, to the already things you've built, right? For me, I'm getting a little sick of my meal prep food. So what, Instagramming recipes, man. I'm trying to upgrade my meal prep so that I can continue to feel like what I'm eating every day is new and it's not the same old, same old. So totally get that one. That's awesome. Let's see, number 9. This one is more for men, but it could be for women too. But talk about your problems with someone. That is not something that I had growing up. It's not something that was taught to me. It's probably not taught to a lot of men. You know, the consensus, I think, with most men is you shouldn't talk about your problems. Just bottle it up, be tough, and move on with it. It really was something that only made it worse throughout my entire life until I truly figured out that talking about what I was going through and finding some people that I could confide in, a support system, even a therapist at times, truly made a difference. And had I not done that, I don't think I would be as happy, as healthy, and as successful as I am had I not had that outlet.
Man, thinking about it, past experiences that I know I've been through, and obviously you as well, that is so, so important. And even if it's not a person or a human, but maybe even an animal, just speaking the words out has a calming effect to not, like Doc said, bottle things up. And I think the more you can kind of outwardly express what you're going through and what you're feeling will help for your journey, because the more you have those mental blocks, the more you have to go through that stress to do whatever you do throughout your day. Those daily tasks make it only that much tougher.
And I know it's sometimes even difficult to speak about things with your support system because maybe it's about them. So that's where a therapist is, for me, was the helping, determining factor, because I could speak to someone who didn't have any real connection to what I was going through and could kind of give me perspective from a different lens, from a different pair of eyes. So that was, helpful, because they might say things to you that your support systems never would, because nobody likes to say things about family members or friends when things are in the thick of it. It's not the most comfortable. So it's nice to have that teammate on your side.
Definitely hard to get through. My next one would be track your challenges or feats. And
absolutely.
This goes back to either, like I said earlier, a podcast that is going to come out, and understanding the time or the seasons. Are you grinding through, pursuing your goal, or trying to build up for this challenge, and understanding and tracking that. And once you do go through that challenge or that feat, to celebrate, to reward yourself for the energy that you've put into it, because if you don't, your dopamine levels are going to just plummet. It's going to be harder for you to keep combating those things, those goals that you want to become or work towards. So for example, we're here at AFC East Mesa, the clinic, on a yearly basis, trying to beat our old numbers, just to improve and impact more people around us. It's going to be, for me, also adding in to a goal of maintaining and building up 185 pounds of my body weight and maintaining, or a Spartan race in November, doing a 10K and preparing myself physically for that challenge. And once that time comes, like I get to that weight or at a year end, to look back, reflect, enjoy that process, but then to go back in and reevaluate, reassess, and then keep pushing you in the right direction.
Do you make goals, Doc?
Commonly, yes.
Yeah. And I think that's another great way too. Just even some goals I make every year. Just a great way to track where you are going for that year, having at least something to aim at.
Yes. What is your goal completion rates? There's a percentage of like you'll complete 100% of your goals, or you might complete 50 of them. How high do you shoot? I know we were talking about this prior too.
I like to make 25 goals a year, and the percentage of goals completed I shoot for is 75%. And the reason why is if I were to complete 100% of my goals, in my perspective, my goals maybe were not difficult enough. And again, this is all just my experience and opinion on what I want to push myself towards. So failure to me is a goal. I want to fail because that's where I learn. And so I want to complete about 75%. One of my favorite people was Grant Cardone, and he said, would you rather fall short of making $100 million or $1 million? He's like, I doubt you'd argue making 96 million versus 960,000. Because again, if you didn't put that perspective that you can reach there, you would never overcome that limiting belief. So I always make goals high enough to fail so that I can just fall short enough to almost overcome them. So I shoot for about 75%. Now again, if I complete only 30 or 40% of them, maybe my goals are a little too high, and that helps me keep a happy medium.
Oh, I like that.
Yep.
The most important thing is, once you get or reach that point, is celebrate, reflect, because if you just brush it off, it's going to be that much more difficult to keep maintaining and go a next step further or set out newer goals. And that's, I think, where a lot of people fall short and don't keep up with their goals, especially on a yearly basis. New Year's resolutions is a whole thing as well.
Don't get caught in the chase.
Yes.
Because I've struggled with that myself. Doc, what are some ways you like to celebrate when you achieve a goal?
Oh gosh, whether it's bringing friends, family around just to celebrate what the accomplishment was, or let's say, for example, especially as a clinic team atmosphere, like we've reached a goal of reaching so many patient visits in a month in terms of a record that we haven't set before. I want to celebrate that with the whole team of everyone that was kind of involved, and then reset where we want to go. How can we beat this record? How can we enhance and improve the community and people around us?
I love that.
That's good.
Number 10 for me, take vacations. I never used to take vacations. I used to work nonstop, and it was not a way to live long term. And the celebrate achievements thing was actually somewhat of a part of this too. I got caught in the chase. I always got caught in more, and I never stopped to actually reflect on where I'd come and got to. And I almost just couldn't accept that what I had achieved was enough. And it's a terrible place to be. So for those of you who are caught in the chase, stop, celebrate, rest, take vacations, celebrate with loved ones, do nice things for yourself. You don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars celebrating every achievement, but you know, I remember even my parents would take me to a local Holiday Inn for probably $50 a night. But as kids, it was a swimming pool and a pizza. Like, to me, I didn't even understand the actual experience going on. Like, I literally thought this was the coolest thing ever, and I got to party with all my relatives, and to me, it was everything. It was so fun and great. And to my parents, it was like, this is a quick trip just to get away and not spend a lot of money. And now that I'm in that kind of time frame of, you know, making sure that I still celebrate everything, but I don't have the money to actually do things extravagantly. There are ways to celebrate without breaking the bank too. And so if it's a quick drink with a loved one, or just night out to eat, sometimes something as simple as that is still worth it to give yourself that celebration. And then the last thing I'd put was, someone taught me this, you need to learn how to work between vacations. A lot of the times people say, well, how do you vacation between your job? But switch it around and plan your vacations. So what kind of work do you need to be doing between each vacation you take? It's a nice mindset shift and gives you something to look forward to, which is, in 6 months, we got this great trip coming up, something to look forward to.
I like that. Yeah, that ties in so much. And even when you stated that, I thought back, okay, the opening of the AFC East Mesa Clinic, we were working so hard to market, to build that up. The opening day came, and it's just, for me, teared up a little bit, just all the stuff of learning, of the experience from other past jobs to that time. And that was my mental vacation.
Yeah.
And to celebrate that, enjoy that, and then, okay, well, what are the goals next, and how can we build up, go from there? But yeah, that was good, man. I like that. And then my last one is find different ways to help others around you be better, and then to push them towards being a better version of themselves. And looking back at, yes, I can push myself to become better, but if no one else is coming with me, it's hard.
For sure.
And I know you probably have a really good understanding of this, is the people that are at the top have very little people around them that they can relate with, that they can understand the struggles, the challenges that they're going through. The more people that are around that understand and know, that are coming with, will only help better them. And I always love doing this anywhere I can give back or benefit others. And we do this in office, clinic. Each staff member has a goal that they have personally. I have them share to everyone else so others can help them with that goal. Some are working out, some are financially, some are reading. And knowing that what their goals are can better help me as a leader, me as a friend, as a colleague, to help them towards their goals. So for example, an individual, Josh, who we just had on our podcast, his goal is to read a book a week. So I bought him a book. Same thing with another staff member, Corey. His goal was to start an online passive business to help start recording videos. So I got him a tripod, so there's less of a barrier. It's all that we can do to help others around us. And there's also an awesome component with that too. If you give back to others, it's only going to mentally help yourself internally and help you towards whatever goals that you have. But
absolutely,
yeah, I like that one for any, whether it's work, whether it's personal, whether it's people that you want to get to know or have relations with professionally, personally. Yeah. All aspects of life. But yeah.
Gary Vee talks a lot about that. He said, I think someone asked him, what would you like your gravestone to say when you pass? And he, without even a second's wait, he said, that's easy. He gave more than he took.
Yes.
And it stuck with me, because that is one person who has put out so much content for free just to help other people. And it's only come back to him tenfold. And I think that's just what this world needs to be. Everybody giving to others, and it's only going to come back to you in magnitude when everybody's helping each other.
I like how you said that.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, was that 10 already?
That was fun. That was
yeah,
fun.
10 ways, guys, each ways. So you guys, I would love for you guys to share ways that you hack your day. Please, this would be really fun to kind of just get comments, send us messages on where you feel you've improved your days, your habits. And yeah, we'd love to have that be shared with you guys. So let us know, like, subscribe, comment, share this. We think this was just a great podcast to give you guys great nuggets on improving your day.
Yeah, or to even dive into any of these other topics that we touched on even more in depth, to bring either research backed or dive into more experiences that we've had with each one. We're here to share and help out as many people there. So
perfect.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. We'll see you next time.
Woo!
Thanks for joining us on The Functional Code. For more evidence-based health insights, subscribe, rate and review wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, your journey to a healthier you begins with understanding the functional code. Until next time, stay well, stay informed, and embrace the science of living well.